previous resolution. That's an inflammatory statement. There's 3 people whose character is being assassinated. Each one is entitled to representation under the law. We have compromised and agreed on the same attorney, but I think to push that farther, to say that because we've been good citizens in protecting the city's coffers, that we should now have a written limit is absurd.
Madam Chair, I understand Mr. Tucker's position, but the statement was really not intended to be inflammatory. I am concerned about limiting the number of attorneys, and actually, given the fact that you're not happy with the rate per hour, and I'm not happy with not having something in there to limit the number of attorneys, I'd suggest that we reword that paragraph 2 to put a, say, $2,000 cap per counselor, and this would ensure that reasonable legal expenses and expenses associated therewith would prevail.
And that is pure and simple tripe. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know who's running you or who's behind you.
Oh.
But now.
Mr. Tucker and Mr. Kiester, can we please calm down a bit? This has been a stressful week and a half for everybody. I would like to bring up a couple of points. Mr. Kiester, I've run some of these numbers. I've been listening to our residents regarding reasonable attorney fees. It's difficult to say, even if you were to bring a tax return, you bring your paperwork to me to do a tax return for you, we charge $200 an hour, our CPA firm. Until I start digging through your work, I have an estimate, I have an idea of how long it will take to do your tax return, but I don't know with 100% accuracy how long it will take me until I start digging. You may give me a bunch of garbage that I have to fish through to figure out, to get you some good numbers, so you are not audited by the IRS later on. So, while I agree that we have to have these gentlemen stay within a reasonable cost, I ran some numbers. Mr. Moss had told me that they hired an attorney at $265 an hour. I started calculating numbers, as I normally do, and I calculated if they were to each have $5,000, $15,000 in total, would be about 56 hours of attorney time. I don't know how long it would take their attorney to deal with this issue. I asked Mr. Yovanovich, how long do you think it will take an attorney to deal with this lawsuit?
And
he estimated between $15,000 and $25,000. 15 on the low end. Mr. Moss called their attorney. He said it was very difficult to pinpoint how many hours it would take. But I was, you can answer. I can understand Mr. Tucker's frustration. I can understand your frustration. But I really hope that we can just try to resolve this. This isn't an easy situation for our city at all. We have residents who are upset with us for one reason, we have residents upset with us for another reason, and I would really like to try to get through this as calmly and as rationally as possible. And I really would hope that our audience would please be civil. We're human beings. We live in this beautiful place. Can we please just be patient with one another? Mr. Yvonne.